Good morning everyone. Today we are flying on an airline I am sure none of you ever heard about. We are in Armenia and this country has some very confusing airline names. I'll first explain a little bit about Armenia's aviation history. If you're not interested in that, just skip to the next part. So in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed and Armenia became, as many countries, independent. A new airline was created at that point called Armenian Airlines, which went bankrupt and was replaced by a carrier called Armavia. This airline, however, had a very sad history. One of the Airbus 320s crashed into the Black Sea, and that same week, another Airbus from them burned down in a hangar fire during maintenance in Brussels, Belgium. So that airline lost 2 out of 3 aircrafts in just 1 week. It went eventually bankrupt as well, and it was replaced by another flag carrier called Air Armenia, which suspended operations after a year, which was then replaced by another company called Armenia Air Company. Now, a lot of airlines are flying in Armenia, even though it's a small country. At that point, new airlines started creating like crazy. Over the last years, we were able to fly on multiple airlines such as Fly One Armenia, Fly Arna, Nove, Shirakavia, Armenia Airways, Armenia Airlines, Armenia Air Company. We even had an airline that made airplanes disappear. That brings us to today's flight. We are not flying with Georgian Airways today. Even though it looks like we're flying with them, we bought the tickets with them and they are a partner airline, but we're not flying with them today. Today we're flying with a company called Air Dilijans, which is the new name for Armenia Air Company. At some point last year there were 3 airlines which were almost similarly named, called Armenia Airlines, Armenia Airways and Armenia Air Company. That did cause some confusion and one of them was renamed to Air Dilijans. We are flying today with them to Tbilisi on a Boeing 737-500, which is their only aircraft. I really like Yerevan Airport. It's very convenient. It takes about 15 minutes to check in, passport control, security. So it's a very smooth airport. I also like the very big windows in the terminal. Some airports have very small windows. You cannot look outside, but Yerevan is fantastic. So this is the new Armenian Airlines. This airline is not to be confused with Armenian Airlines, Air Company Armenia or Armenia Airways. And soon enough it was time to board our flight to Tbilisi in Georgia. We were transferred to the airplane by bus, so we could look once at Armenian Airlines. Time to board our flight with Air Diligence and see what it's like to fly on one of the most unknown airlines in the world. Very surprisingly, there are business class seats on this aircraft. We are, however, seated in economy. Fun fact is that any airline registered in Armenia is on the European blacklist. So these airlines are not allowed to fly into Europe. Nevertheless, this is an oversight issue and not necessarily a safety issue with the airline itself. Next to us is the Shirakavia Boeing 737. They're mostly flying to Russia, and if you're wondering where the name comes from, it's a very small village in Armenia. I'm not sure why they chose this name, maybe the owner is from this village. Also, Air Diligence is named after a city which is in the north of Armenia, and it's actually a very nice place to visit. So if you plan to ever come to Armenia, visit Dilijan, it's very beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Senior to Flight speaking on behalf of Air Diligence and Georgian Airways. We are glad to welcome you on boarding of Boeing 737 operating flight on route from Yerevan to Tbilisi. Captain of the aircraft is Mr. Karapetyanov, flight cap. Թթվասնի մագը գտնվում է ձեր գլխավերևում։ Վթարի դեպքում այն դուրս է նետվում ավտոմատ կերպ։ Դիմակ հայտնվելուն պես կտրուկ ձգեք ներքև, սեղմեք քթինը բերանին, թթվասին բաց է թողնում ինքնաբերաբար, եթե լուծում։
It's a very short flight, just about 25 minutes, so there is no drinks or food, and actually even the seatbelt signs don't go off. Fortunately, it's a bit cloudy today, otherwise the landscapes would be very beautiful today. As I told before, airlines from Armenia are not allowed to fly into Europe. However, this airline is quite safe, I believe. They are partnering with Georgian Airways and they were allowed to fly into Europe before as well. This is an oversight issue which I hope they will fix in the future, so airlines like Air Dilijans will be able to fly back again to Europe as they were before. And while it was very sunny in Yerevan, the weather in Tbilisi, Georgia seems not as pretty. We had a very nice flight with Air Diligence. It's very short, so there's not so much to complain about, but the flights were on time and the crew was friendly. I have flown with Air Company Armenia before to Europe when they were still allowed to fly there, and it was very good as well. In our next video, we are going to visit Tbilisi, and I can tell you already it was an interesting visit, both positively and negatively. So if you don't want to miss that episode, subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.